And I'll start recording here, I guess, right?
Sure, why not?
Yeah, did you format that card?
No.
Yeah, okay. It's pretty fine.
Yeah, I didn't know what was on it.
All the levels seem good.
I think so. I mean, that popped.
This is podcast.
Podcast number 1.
Actually, it is a little high.
Does my voice sound good like this?
It sounds weird when you do that.
Alright, what should we talk about?
I don't know. Let's talk about how I can't find any sound effects board at all on the internet anymore. Remember when you used to go and type in things and there'd be like clickable web
Yeah,
pages?
search like Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, but I feel like there used to be like a movie, just like a general sound effects one, you know, and you could just click different ones.
Maybe that will give you like.
Make prank calls with Arnold Schwarzenegger's voice.
Yeah.
Are you using the right search terms?
That's what I was saying. Maybe that would like.
Hi. Howdy, stranger. Yeah. First,
Me and Nick Jade used to do this with this thing. We called Joe for
here's
years
how it works.
from his phone with this.
I don't play that game.
Should we call somebody and do that?
Probably.
All right. Well, we can sidebar that.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are we going to talk about? Oh, well, I don't know.
We got lunch.
Oh yeah, we did
Can
get
always
lunch.
Talk about lunch.
Lunch is
This
maybe
isn't the
that
show
is-
yet, right? Or is it?
I don't know.
I don't know. When do we start?
Well, I don't know. Maybe we should have like a pre-meeting real quick and then start or something.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. Give us a formula, some kind.
But I mean, go ahead with what
Like
we were
lunch
saying.
could be a part of it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What weren't we talking about stuff on the way back from lunch that we were like, oh, we should talk about that on the podcast or
You were saying something like.
Oh.
I said save it for the podcast on the way there.
Yeah, it was pertinent to where we went to lunch because you said you saw people who would come into the lodge who worked there.
oh
Or did you
right.
want to like hang out with them or something?
Well, they just seem like diner folk, so I wonder is it like a glorified diner?
Yeah.
In a way, yes, that's what it is.
Mm-hmm. It's in a way.
Yeah.
It's like that diner is on roids.
It's like the mega church of
I mean, it'd be
diners.
good to
yeah.
review that.
Yeah.
'Cause
Mhm.
It's new.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. We should talk about. Have you caught up on Silicon Valley?
I'm 2 episodes behind.
Damn.
Have
Well,
you, Phil?
No.
But we
I-
can still
I
talk
know
about-
enough about what's going on.
But we can still talk
Yeah.
about like the T.J. Miller article that came out recently. Maybe.
What
Did
was
you
it?
read that article?
No.
No. Well, we can tell you about it, and then you can give us your thoughts on it. How's that?
Sure.
It's just kind of funny because, well, we can save it. But
Oh, these are topic ideas.
yeah,
Oh, okay,
yeah,
cool. Yeah.
yeah. Let's
I
spitball
we
in
could
here.
we could have Miller time
Yeah.
and we talk about T.J. Miller.
Things T.J. Miller. That's funny.
Miller time.
It's Miller time.
So we don't have any Millers in here.
Ooh, man, if we do it,
Are there any beers in there?
I don't know. If we do it this long enough, we should actually get him on the show.
Yeah, that'd be great.
And for Miller time, we actually have T.J. Miller.
I'm
Come
gonna-
on down.
And we couldn't get T.J. Miller, but we have T.J. Hubbard from
We
Golf
have
Golf
one
Channel.
beer.
Oh, we should
No, wait,
split
we
it.
got- There's 2 Rolling Rocks and 1 fancy beer.
I'll take the Rolling Rock.
Okay,
Anybody want a beer?
sure.
What's happening?
Oh, what's the fancy one? Is it one of those like gross angler?
You
weird
can have
ones?
A fancy one, Trevor. Manatee.
This one isn't that bad. What
It's
was
not
the
that
one that? Remember Woodruff had one. He actually liked them. We thought they were gross.
It might have been that.
Do we need coasters for our new table?
We have some.
They were behind you in that cabinet.
I feel like this is impenetrable.
Order up.
I feel like it also feels that way, but it also might be like.
This
shitty.
episode brought to you by the now defunct company of Order Up.
I guess you just jump into it, but maybe we should like introduce ourselves off the top, like since it's the first one. Or something.
Yeah. What sort?
What is the name of the show?
Yeah. What's the
Maybe
show?
that should be maybe that should be part of the topic, like you
Yeah.
said.
We might have to feel. Should I have waited to do that?
Yeah.
You prematurely.
Shit.
Well, you got the sound effect in there.
Sorry.
Fuck
All right.
you.
Go fuck yourself. Fuck you.
Stop it.
Okay, should we start, or or any more pre-game, or?
Well, like, yeah. What's the show's name? What's its purpose? We're figuring out the why.
We're a
do
lot
we
like the new
podcast.
neighbor in the building.
We should definitely go into that.
Cheap
Maybe I
shot.
shouldn't.
Yeah, we should.
Should I not eat candy?
Maybe not. Maybe
Yeah.
some people might be into it though. I don't know.
It's ASMR for you.
Should we avoid using people's names? If maybe.
Sure, yeah. That might add to some of the humor
Like your
of
own
the show.
discretion, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
Yeah,
could call,
depending
like-
on the
We
context.
could talk about
maybe.
like butt
Yeah.
suck.
Yeah.
Butt suck. Yeah, that's a good one.
You know.
Yeah.
You son of a bitch.
This is just gonna happen all the time.
We each should get one. I want
Yeah.
to
You
find
welcome.
my own.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
It's gonna make me want to make my own. Watch movies and like
I know. What's
record the
another good
sound
one?
on
I
my
bet
with
you-
my phone and make my own soundboard.
Look, see if there's like a Bill Clinton one. That'd be good.
Yeah. Or a
Bill
Bill Cosby one.
soundboard or a George Bush.
I've already heard podcasts worse than this, so
Yeah.
we're doing all right.
Hey, it's the belching hour.
Nope.
Oh, it's raining again.
A shocker. Let's talk about that. It rains every day at 4:00.
Man, it'd be
It's
cool
really
to
not that
somehow get.
interesting, But
We could give like a traffic update too.
hey, we're coming to you live outside our window here, and
We could have like helicopter sounds and put the zoom lens on.
Maybe this should just be. We should just post this as we're going. This is already it.
yeah,
Yeah,
this is it. I mean,
figured.
Maybe we should just
It's
stop
the Laser
and do an
Lion
introduction.
podcast.
Yeah.
How would we do that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because they always say the first X% of something's garbage anyways, so people will skip ahead anyways.
Oh, good.
okay.
We could even put the intro right before all that, and then be like, "This was us figuring it out."
Mm-hmm.
So what are we doing right now?
Let's just stop and introduce ourselves.
Okay.
Are
Crack
we gonna
these
crack
open?
these open?
What's it? Or do we have a name of the show? Or we say like comment in the comment section what
Yeah.
our name should be.
It's weird because it's like I don't know. We're gonna talk about all sorts of stuff. It's hard to say.
Maybe we'll
We could just be like the Laser Lion podcast hour,
Yeah.
Laser
Maybe you
Lion
could
comedy
develop
hour.
a-
Laser
a
Lion
name.
While We Work podcast.
Yeah. mhm.
Yeah. Laser podcast.
That's good.
Good for now. I'll take it.
All right. 3, 2.
We'll add yours in post.
No.
Ooh. Good slurp.
Cheers, y'all.
Oh, that's happy. Ah.
Welcome to the Laser Lion podcast hour. I'm Philip Shuck,
I'm Trevor Cruz.
And I'm Travis Ingram.
and you're listening to whatever this is. Welcome. This is our first podcast.
Yeah.
We're going to get underway for you here. So what's new, everybody?
Not much.
We all had lunch earlier today.
Yeah,
We did eat.
we did. Yeah, we do that a lot. I guess that's something we could say is we eat
We
lunch a
tend
lot.
to eat lunch about every day.
Every day, daily company lunch. We go somewhere different. Well, we sort of have our
We have our
handful of
classic places.
yeah.
Around downtown, but we tried a new place this time, which was called what, Trevor?
The Ace Cafe Orlando.
The
If
Ace
you
Cafe Orlando.
live in Orlando and drive on I-4, you can see it when you
And
drive by
I'm sorry for
downtown. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. That I-4 is rough.
But it's the first of its kind in the United States.
It's
Yeah,
an immigrant from London, right?
Yeah.
yeah. I guess
Foreigner.
we did it tell all the history on that thing on the back. The menu had like a little bit of history on it. And I did a little research. I think Travis had read about it before too. But I guess in London it was popular. It was like a popular, almost like just a gas station cafe kind of thing. And then during the war, the building was like basically completely demolished during an air raid. And then they brought it back. And I guess like in the late 1960s or something like that, it became really popular with like rockers and motorcycle enthusiasts and stuff. So
now they propagate that image. They're like a biker diner,
yeah.
and it's huge. And Travis compared it to
What?
eating in
Eating like in a Sports Authority in a way. It's very open. So
it's quite massive. Yeah, it's like eating in a warehouse.
Pretty
was-
cool
it was nice.
industrial ductwork,
Mm-hmm.
brick.
About what you would.
IKEA shelves for motorcycle helmets.
Yeah.
Classic motorcycles inside.
A lot of
If
motorcycles.
that's your thing, you
Yeah.
might be into it. And pretty good food.
Yeah, the
Decent
was
food.
good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I
Decent
like it.
food. We've only had 3 meals there.
Something
One
we
each.
didn't do is we didn't go upstairs and walk around. There might have been more to look at up there. But there was like a motorcycle shop, like
Yeah.
biker gear.
Mhm. The food was maybe, as Trevor had mentioned, like $2 to $3 more than what you might want to pay,
Yeah.
but they have
And
to
kind
pay
of
for
like
the building somehow.
That kind of that classic trope, like, how's the food? Well, the atmosphere is good.
Right.
You know, not
Yeah.
that the food is bad, but it's just, it's all right. Actually, was pretty good. My burger was pretty good. Had a turkey burger.
And I couldn't finish my food, so
They had enough
Joke's on
food.
me.
They gave enough
Yeah, I
food.
couldn't
Fries
finish
were
mine
pretty
either.
good,
Mm-hmm.
crispy. Anyway, this is boring as hell.
yeah. And
It
this
was about a
episode brought to you
9-minute
by-
walk from our office. We walked by the train tracks,
All right,
successfully
we're still learning, everyone.
avoiding criminal activity.
We covered lunch.
Yeah, that's
Right,
lunch.
that's lunch.
All right.
Um,
Oh, well, I guess we are a production company. We love films. We love talking about movies all the time.
That's true. We do video work here in Orlando,
Mm-hmm.
as I'm sure you all know by now.
Yeah. What was our latest project? Orlando Tech and Beer video for free.
Highlight reel for a local startup meetup type thing.
Yeah, shout out to those guys for
Mhm.
doing stuff in Orlando, making it less boring.
Yeah,
always good to be making waves.
Yeah.
even though we don't have a beach.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying to find a good soundboard for our podcast. Oh, who's calling me? Ashley's calling me. Oh.
Ooh, put it on air.
Actually
Put it on the
do
I
air.
was going to, but she stopped.
Oh, butt
Ooh,
dial.
when you call in
Yeah.
the Lazy
Hey,
Lion
call
Radio
in.
Hour.
Yeah. If you know us, call us.
Yeah,
Put
call
you on.
in.
If you want to talk about things, you know. You can talk about whatever you want on this podcast.
What
my
else should we
phone
talk
just went
about?
off, too. Maybe we got a group text.
What do you got written down over there, Phil?
Movies and TJ Miller.
Miller time?
And then what is this show?
Yeah.
Well, okay, I just saw
Oh, yeah.
the new King Kong movie. It's not really new anymore, but I saw it at the Dollar Theater. We have a local Dollar Theater here. It's like a couple bucks to see a movie called The Picture Show in Altamont Springs, and I love that place. I love to support it. And I thought the movie was actually pretty good. I feel like it was like a kind of like a big summer movie. And the best way I can describe it is that I feel like it was like the same genre as Jurassic World, same audience, and I felt like they did a way better job, way better style, and the plot and the characters were way better developed. But yeah, I recommend it, and I recommend that theater. It's
How
pretty
does
cool.
it compare to the new ride at Universal?
I was talking to Trevor about this earlier. It's like it made it seem like maybe they revamped that ride in anticipation for the movie or vice versa. But I didn't see any through line whatsoever besides King Kong is a thing.
Hmm.
There is no character crossover. No, even the creatures are different. Like, you know, King Kong's fighting dinosaurs, I think, in the ride.
I've never done the ride.
You haven't?
No, because when my passes were finishing up, they were just starting to they would open it occasionally for
Right.
test audiences or whatever. So I never got a chance. We would always we hovered. I think it was like the last day of our passes, and Ashley and I went and hovered around the ride to see if we could get on it.
You've
but-
done the ride, right? We did it.
Yeah, I
together?
think we did it together when it was maybe still in beta format, and
Yeah.
I remember it was a bit underwhelming, but we didn't even go through the main entrance, so
Since then, I went to the main entrance. It's still pretty much the same. I think we missed one portion when we went together. It's unique in a way because it has you're in a truck, and so you can look left and look right. So it's like you're kind of immersed.
mm-hmm.
You know, that was unique, but it was slightly underwhelming. But yeah, I think he's fighting dinosaurs in that, and in this one there wasn't really any dinosaurs. But
Yeah.
other kind of
There wasn't dinosaurs
creatures.
on the island that they were on, or no?
no, I wouldn't describe them as. They look slightly dinosaur-like, and there was sort of some pterodactyl-ish creatures, but they're more like monsters than dinosaurs.
Okay.
Was he as big as he appears on the box art or the poster? He looks
Oh, the
giant.
poster, he looks
he
like
seems
a
like this is
mountain.
maybe the biggest version of him, like Godzilla.
That's a good point. I would say yes.
Because before he was
I'm
like
trying to think back. Like
comparable to that girl.
I
he
would
was
say
holding up.
his hand is like the size of this entire room.
That's
That's
from
pretty
from,
big.
from
'Cause-
fingertip to end of palm. So he was like very big. He was like as big as a mountain.
Because when you
Or
think
like
about
a-
like
a
the
small
original,
mountain.
yeah. I was gonna say like the RKO one.
he's
how
like
many-
7
how
floors
many s-
big.
Yeah,
He's
This one
climbing
was
up
probably
a building.
significantly bigger.
he's hanging on to what, the Empire State Building.
Yeah.
But I still think he could climb the Empire State Building, you know? Like I still think he wasn't that big.
I just remember in the posters he was massive, like larger than life.
He does seem he's very imposing. They use a lot of the camera work in that movie was very interesting. A lot of like close-ups and a lot of like I don't know, you know, it's interesting to see. Speaking of, it's interesting how rides and like video games affect films and vice versa films. Even though that the ride doesn't necessarily have any crossover to the film in terms of characters or creatures, you can tell it's shot almost like, I don't know, was that movie released in 3D because it was shot
I
like
think it was. Yeah.
It would make sense.
it looked.
Yeah.
There was all these interesting camera movements. Or like kind of fixed. There was this one of the main sequence where he rips apart the helicopters. Spoilers. I don't know if you've not seen it. It's like a fixed camera attached to the helicopter looking through. You know how it's like the two doors looking through. So there's like a guy on the left and a guy on the right. And so it's like maybe he's whipping the thing around, turning it up, trying to throw them out for like maybe even a minute almost doing this. And so it's just these, but it's a static shot
Yeah.
attached to the helicopter, and the background is just flying. Sometimes you see his eyeball, sometimes you see the ground swing, and like it's like that for like 30 seconds to a minute.
That
It was,
must have had to have been
kind
in
of
3D.
strange.
Yeah.
Because that's almost like a roller coaster.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting.
If they do that, they should always just try to make the ride have that exact moment in it. Like have the movie, but then maybe the ride is
That's
a
what
scene from the movie.
that's what was interesting is like I feel like they were both made at the same time without
Right.
much any crossover to like I don't know if it's this King Kong from the ride is the one from the movie or it's just like kind of happenstance.
Well, what's the movie called?
Skull Island.
King Kong Skull Island.
And that's what the ride's called, which is it's interesting. Yeah, because it's like it's an interesting idea to make a ride like as the movie's being made.
Because you don't even know if it's going to be a success. Also, you're kind of like,
That's what's
Let's just
weird.
hope.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also
And maybe that's why it's not 100% tuned in because it's like they can stand alone. I honestly think the CGI, the graphics from the ride look more like the creature from the old movie, or not the old movie.
the
Peter Jackson one?
Yeah, I was gonna say.
He looks like the ride Kong looks like the Peter Jackson Kong more than the new Kong, in a way. But maybe I'm.
Well, and also, we could talk about this for a second, which is funny, is the fact that Universal had, like, a King Kong ride, which was, unarguably the best, like, ride of the two. And so it's just funny because, like, oh, we got rid of a King Kong ride to put in another King Kong ride, like, years later. It's just funny.
That's a great. That's kind of an interesting topic. We live in Orlando, if you don't know. So we often get passes to the theme parks. When they took out the King Kong ride, they did it to put in the Harry Potter. No. They put in the Mummy. That was
right.
insane to
Which
put in
that's
Brendan Fraser's The
another-
Mummy.
Yeah,
It's
a
still
good
a
ride.
decent. It's a decent ride, but to
but-
take out that, I think is crazy because here's the one thing I wanted to say is to take out King Kong and Jaws. They took out Jaws to put in Harry Potter. I feel like that's like dismantling the castle at Disney World. I feel like King Kong and Jaws was
It was
Universal.
their
Those are
identity,
something
yeah.
that should not be touched. In my opinion, they're like time capsules. They're like the castle. They are what it's known for.
Yeah. It was weird that that park is just weird because eventually it's pretty much almost all modern stuff now. It's
Yeah.
Harry Potter, it's Transformers, it's Simpsons.
Men in Black.
Yeah, but Men in Black, that's next. That's gotta be
That
next.
was.
But
There's
see-
a Jimmy Fallon ride like
Yeah.
that.
But see, that's like that drives the point home even more It's because it's like, oh, let's put in a Men in Black and a Brendan Fraser's The Mummy. So quickly, those are going to feel so dated, even though they're the modern rides. Men in Black is completely dated. The Mummy is still a good ride, but it's completely dated in its content.
Yeah.
Nobody watches Brendan Fraser Mummy anymore.
They
just
just
had that-
Tom Cruise one.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll revamp
that
it for
is.
the Tom Cruise Mummy. But like I feel like those classic films, they would never feel old because they were already classics when they made the ride.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to go anywhere in like film history.
They should have at least had like a classic theme park. Don't just have
I
a
know, there
classic
should be
theme
a
park out in
theme
the middle
park.
of nowhere.
There should be. Like, yeah, it would be great. Like some kind of theme park museum where all that stuff goes and gets set up and is fully operational.
Or just or
It's so fun.
there's enough room. It's what annoys me, you know. It had to have been hard to dismantle all that stuff and then build everything else. Why not fill in some of the lake, or like why not build right behind Jaws instead of on top of Jaws? Like, I'm sure there's at least some land where they could expand instead of. Because like in Islands of Adventure, I feel like they didn't shut down anything to add the Kong ride. They just sort of opened up like a belly button into like a new.
Right. Yeah.
Opened up a little hallway into the
Speaking
new
of
area.
so when we Ashley and I were just in California, and we were
Ashley's your wife.
Oh yeah, Ashley's my wife. She had never been to California before, so we took a trip out there. The three of us went out there for a client like 2 years ago, and we did San Francisco to LA for like 10 days, and it was awesome. And so she had never been out to California, and so I kind of, sort of retraced our footsteps when we were out there a little bit. But when we were leaving LA, when we were in the airport, we were checking our bags, and the lady at the counter was talking to us about our theme parks. And it was kind of funny because it's like everybody talks about how LA is awesome and all this stuff, but Orlando has the better theme parks.
And in a way, you can just sense it, even being out here. Like, oh, this is the
But,
real stuff.
yeah.
Even though Disneyland was built first.
Right. And like that's the thing, everybody says, oh, Disneyland out there is like way smaller, it's like underwhelming, whatever. Like the castle, apparently I've never been to the Disneyland out there or the Universal, but the castle at the Disneyland out there is supposedly like really small and all this stuff. But the thing that was kind of interesting was they don't have an Islands of Adventure at Universal there. Because I guess Universal is also a functioning studio, so they have all the sound stages and everything like that. So they're limited on, LA, you're limited on land and stuff like that. So they didn't even have we were telling them, because they were talking to us about Harry Potter, and their Harry Potter had just opened, like not too long ago. And so they were talking about how they have, what's the one with the castles at Hogwarts or Hogsmeade? That was the first one that opened.
The bank, the Gringotts?
No, what's the one with the castle? I know
Oh.
people who are Harry Potter fans are going to be like
The
killing me.
Wizarding World?
No, what was the first? Okay, we have the two areas of Harry Potter.
Yeah.
What are they?
Well,
Wizarding
the
World
one
and
is just the
Diagon Alley?
school. The
Diagon
school.
Alley and Hogsmeade. Those are the two.
Oh, I
and
thought it
the
was like the
Hogsmeade
world.
one was the first one where you has the dueling dragons. It's
Yeah,
in
yeah,
Islands
yeah,
of Adventure.
Yeah, Hogsmeade, the little town. That's the little town
The
that's
town
near
is
the school.
called Hogsmeade.
That's near the school. Yeah.
Yeah,
that's-
the town that's near
yeah.
the school.
Okay. Yeah. And then
Okay.
Hogwarts. Yeah, is the school. Well, anyway, they only have like a Hogsmeade. They don't have
Suckers.
They don't have Diagon Alley. We were like, because they opened their this is confusing. They opened their Hogsmeade in their main Universal park because that's all they have. They don't have like the extra park, because we were like, oh yeah, like Diagon Alley, you can go over to King's Cross and take a train to the other town. And they were like, what? They were like freaking out, like that. And I was just like, and just from talking to them about that sort of thing in our theme parks, I was like, kind of made me be proud in a way to live here. I was like, all right, well, California, you got all the other awesome things, so give us something, like at least we got something.
We got the theme parks.
Yeah.
It's actually kind of funny that maybe we'll cover the theme parks. We'll get out of the way. I can't believe that somehow we ended up on theme parks because
We also
We're
have a
in
big
Orlando.
convention center.
Oh, yeah.
does
We'll
anyone
visit
like
convention centers,
Mickey
yeah.
Mouse?
Yeah.
Let's get,
He
next
started
topic
out as a
is-
bunny. You might not know.
Well, it's
Oh,
good
no,
to
I was
get the
gonna say-
Orlando stuff out of
Yeah,
the
we'll
way,
get the
I guess.
Orlando stuff out of the way. It's topical. We live in Orlando. I was gonna say too, back on the castle being small. I didn't really know until maybe like a year or two ago that all the every Disney park has a different princess's castle, which I didn't
Yeah.
know. I think I think the Disneyland has Snow White's castle, and then Disney World has Cinderella's castle.
Mm-hmm. I wonder what the new one, the big one they opened in China is.
Yeah, I knew at some point.
There's
you
a thing
looking it
on
up?
here: 8 major differences between Walt Disney World.
Try and find out what's the castle in China?
Yeah, I think it's Disney Shanghai.
Disney Shanghai. What's the princess's castle?
I want to go to that one because it seems like they have like a really cool Tron
Yeah,
roller coaster.
I was just gonna say that. Yeah.
Oh,
it looks
I saw some pictures. That looks
so
cool.
I follow.
It lends itself to it, which is nice.
This is nerdy. I follow James Gunn on Instagram, and this is so stupid, but he was just there riding it, so he like posted a picture. And I was like, oh man, it looks awesome.
Oh, cool.
That's cool. I'm sure it would be fun because I think it like shoots you really fast, just like the Hulk.
It'd be cool if it was like individual and you were on speed, like those bikes. The light
I think
bikes.
you are on bikes,
Oh,
or you're
that's
meant to
cool.
look like you're on bikes, you know.
Yeah,
But they're
That's-
like all kind of connected in like a.
That's cool. They should have it be more dangerous, where it like is a bike and you have to hold on, and you have to like have a certain amount of strength. So
You know
don't
what would
fly
be-
off the handles?
Yeah. Well,
It'd
might
be
get
dangerous.
hurt.
Yeah.
but it would
Of
be cool if they
course.
had a strap that wasn't very intrusive and it felt like you had to hold on for your life. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Something that would be great for that Tron ride is, have you guys seen those roller coasters where you have VR?
Yeah, they did that here in SeaWorld. Did you see that?
I did see that.
Yeah.
Those looked really cool. But I feel like that Tron ride would be perfect because,
Yeah.
and you could be in a whole train of people, but you could feel like you're just yourself on
Oh,
that bike, or
in
like
that
someone's about to
world.
like cross over you and
Yeah.
you're about to
Yeah.
hit them, but there's nothing really there. That would be
Oh,
perfect.
that'd be great.
It would
Perfect for the
'cause
Tron ride.
It would be kind of
Get that
easy
going,
too,
Disney.
Because
Yeah.
even
The
like,
graphics would be easy, yeah. Easier.
It'd be awesome. Okay, so get this: the Shanghai one.
Mm-hmm.
It's first of all, it's the largest castle ever made, and
That makes
Largest
sense.
castle or Disney castle?
largest
Disney.
Disney castle.
That makes sense.
And it is meant to represent. It's the first one meant to represent all of the princesses from Disney. It's called the Enchanted Storybook Castle.
So it's just generic princess.
Large and generic, I guess.
I'd like to go to a Disney World where they open up, where they have like Agrabah, like Princess Jasmine's castle.
Oh
Do they have one of those?
yeah. No, I don't think so.
That would be cool.
That would be cool.
Open up
Dubai.
like or like India.
Yeah, Disney Dubai. Dubai Disney.
Yeah.
Dubai Disney. So there you go. Yeah, it would be cool to go there.
Yeah. Oh.
Do you have to? What does it take to get into China? You would know.
Oh, Travis has been to China.
He has.
There's a couple ways. One way you can have someone there, like, I don't know, get you in.
But you can't just go there. You have to.
You can fly into Hong Kong, and it's
Okay.
more expensive to fly into Hong Kong
But you don't have
than
to be there
mainland
saying
China.
you're there on business or anything.
But
Yeah.
you have to have a visa, right?
Mm-hmm. But you can like fly into Hong Kong, get a visa there, and then like take a short bus or not bus.
So you can get a visa while you're there,
Mhm.
or that's that the only way to do it? Is that the
There's another way
regular
to do it. You can like talk to someone that lives there beforehand, and then for a business purpose, or I think there's also like travel agents that can do it, but I think you have to say it's for a business purpose. But it's like the one I got, I could have gone for 6 months out of any year for up to 10 years,
Oh wow.
but I lost it. So
I
Someone in
laughed a
China
little
has
bit
mine.
because you said get a visa and take a short bus.
Now, you told me that you lost, quote unquote, lost it. Could have been stolen. Can those things be? Is that a thing? Is that a
No,
market?
it's a
Can it
huge
be sold
thing.
on the black
Yeah.
market?
I was told they get about $10,000 on the black market
For one?
for one. It could be bullshit though, but and then
Do they-
again, it isn't like an American passport. in
Do
a
they have to
country
like
that.
scratch out the name and like, or what does the visa look like? Does it have your name and everything on it?
Well, it's the passport book, and the visa is just a sticker in it. So it's the whole passport is lost. You lose everything.
Oh,
So it's like it's like losing your driver's license, but worse.
and so, but still, some kind of skilled, Mission Impossible
Yeah.
type person will have to like scrape off your
Yeah,
picture
yeah.
and change your name and everything.
Yeah.
Catch me if you can.
Yeah, I don't.
I would love
don't-
to see some Chinese man
cutting his hair or whatnot.
Yeah.
Hello.
So you are John Ingram, sir?
Yes.
Yes. I don't. I'm gonna be racist, but that would be funny.
Yeah.
Someone trying to pose as John
You're
Ingram.
John Travis Ingram.
Oh yes,
Oh yes. That's not.
very good. Arigato.
Welcome aboard.
They're all in on it. They promote it. Like fuck.
That's Japanese
Death to
also.
America.
John Ingram.
They're like anti-America over there, so they,
Mm-hmm.
they're like, oh yeah, go out, steal visas.
Yeah. If
No,
we
we
did,
love them.
Yeah,
They're
I love
good guys. Keep making the stuff. We're
Yeah,
doing
yeah,
good.
a lot of money, China.
If we did want
We're
to talk
sorry.
more about
Don't
like,
invade.
the Orlando area, there's this new school. That's a big piece of shit.
What?
Oh, you're talking about the UCF campus coming
Yeah.
Oh, that's going
coming
in downtown.
to you downtown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gonna ruin the lives of all the.
So we're about to get a soapbox moment here.
Yeah, I guess so. Time for your soapbox moment where
Well,
we
it's just a
bitch about
thing.
stuff that pisses us off.
Oh, it'd be cool to get that sponsored. That'd be a good sponsor element.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Soapbox brought to you by
Lever 2000.
Yeah. Lever 2000.
Lever 2000.
Dove.
A box every month to your door of soap.
Oh,
The soap
there's an
box.
idea. Dollar Shave, but soap.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. You're welcome, internet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
everyone needs
Whoever
soap.
makes that
That's
makes
great.
that happen.
Dollar Soap Club.
Just put the check to Laserline.
Actually, you should just have things that you always want, like toilet paper and soap, that just come to your house in
Yeah.
subscription base.
Constant refill.
And then
Like,
eventually.
it knows.
That's a good name too. Constant refill.
Constant.
You know what? Just keep sending the toilet paper until I say stop.
Yeah.
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 Keep
I mean,
'em
that's
coming.
basically what happens. I had to do that with Dollar Shave Club. I don't shave that often.
Yeah.
I have like 7 5-packs of razors now, and I'm like, well, this is going to last me like 5 years.
Mm-hmm. It's really funny. Like back in the day, it's like, oh, I want to go to the store and buy things, and now we just want to. Nah, we don't want to buy
Stores
things.
are
We don't want to
overrated.
go anywhere and buy anything. We want it delivered to us,
Yeah.
and we complain about why we're all out of shape.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we're almost like reaching the cycle where it's becoming like kind of almost nostalgic to go into a store.
I feel that way every
And
time I
so,
walk in there. I feel
Sometimes you
nostalgic.
almost like the I feel like that is going to be a growing like want, even just for nostalgic sake, to like I want to go in and
Mhm.
look and
This is a good segue because I just saw something recently where somebody crowdfunded a movie rental store.
really.
And now yeah, so it's like I know there's like one in Texas or like in Austin. There's like you can rent VHS, you can rent DVD, Blu-ray, whatever. That's independently owned and run. It's supposed to be really cool. But yeah, somebody crowdfunded a movie rental to create a movie rental store.
That's really cool.
It's coming back.
I was I watch a fair amount of Cinemassacre on YouTube. Do you guys watch that? Like Angry Video Game Nerd or anything like that?
No.
Anyway, a lot of people who listen might be know what I'm talking about, but he turned his like entire basement into sort of like a video store recreation. He's got all the VHS and DVDs set up like a video store and the little old computer and like
Yeah,
and it's like almost like a time capsule. It's really cool.
that's awesome. That was always, we talk about that all the time. It's like going to like Blockbuster or whatever our local movie rental place was. That was like such a fun experience.
Yeah.
Always. Even it's like that's like one of those things where I don't know. It's like we sort of let technology or whatever happen, but looking back, you're like,
You don't always know where it's
Wait.
going to lead you, you know?
Mhm.
And the convenience is astonishing and the technology is astonishing, but yeah,
yeah,
you lose that certain element.
yeah. It was always like you'd go there, you'd rent the movie, maybe buy some candy, and
Yeah.
it was a lot of fun. It was
And you
always
get
fun to
one and you'd be
walk
like,
down the aisles.
well, I'm getting one. Maybe I should get another, like double
Mhm.
feature, and like
Yeah.
the whole family would go and everyone would, maybe pick out the one you wanted and kind of like your dad would get the one he wanted and maybe one extra, like
Mhm.
split between the rest of the entire family,
Yeah.
Mhm.
Did y'all ever rent video games?
Oh yeah, all the time.
Not much.
Yeah. It was
Yeah.
always. It was
I always tried to
hard
beat 'em.
Yeah, that was the
then
hard part. was, like,
return
trying
'em.
to beat 'em, yeah.
Yeah, I miss renting things like that. It was always a fun experience. Like it didn't need to go away.
It didn't. Yeah,
They were just-
exactly.
they were-
It wasn't one of those things that was
Yeah.
like.
That's an interesting conversation. Like, was it mutually exclusive? And I guess I don't. I think what we're saying is no.
I think
Except
it was just
for that,
shitty
it's like-
management.
I think so too.
They were
I
like-
looked into it a lot. Like,
They lost a bunch of money because they were stupid.
and Blockbuster had the opportunity to buy Netflix early on,
Yeah, that whole landscape.
and they
could be
said no. They
different.
said they thought they could compete.
Yep.
That was still before they had even streaming. I think when they were still just the mail service.
Mm-hmm. They should have at least just bought them just to like stifle competition.
Yeah.
Just buy it and like
But at
waste
that
their
point,
time.
like they had zero competition. I don't think they were scared at all.
No, they weren't.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was like, what's a good comparison? Like something that's just, has no competition.
Mm-hmm.
Which also, I guess, like,
Except the tiny little local video store that would like have the movies Blockbuster didn't have. But then I feel like they would get bought out by Blockbuster a lot.
mhm.
Yeah, and they couldn't compete because generally I found like they wouldn't have as much selection. Blockbuster had like 100 VHSs. Like I remember the walls were lined with the new
Yeah.
releases.
Remember the new releases and the entire wall would be the one video.
Mm-hmm.
Growing up in South Florida, there was a place that we would go to called 16,000 Movies. I swear it was like half the shopping strip. I was like,
Yeah.
I didn't even know. I would like get overwhelmed
Yeah.
being in there. I was like, this is crazy. And like that place lasted forever and then just eventually went out of business, I think, because of the whole DVD, like Netflix world. But that's weird because it's like you're saying, like Blockbuster and all those people probably felt the same way we feel about about it, in a sense that like nobody's gonna like this is still an experience that people love doing. This isn't ever gonna go away, It's like,
Yeah.
it's gone.
You know what?
It could come back though.
I never thought about it this way until just now. It's like how we said, you never quite know where it's going to go. I feel like the whole takeover by Netflix, it's like a coup. It's like a coup when it's like when Hitler was like, we're going to make Germany great again. We're going to give you jobs. Everyone's going to have a job. And then you sort of go down this path and you don't wait, I never signed up for this. I
Yeah.
think when someone said like any movie you ever wanted to see, Casablanca or that's a bad example, but any like old movie, that was like Netflix original thing. Like we have everything. It's bigger than a store. We have every backlog of anything. We'll send it to your house.
Yeah.
When you first got turned on, okay, yeah, I can see all these old movies that I can't even find anywhere.
Yeah.
And going from that to, and then, okay, wait, now you don't even have to mail it in. It's a streaming service. So it's like, okay, this is awesome. And now everyone's just streaming and their selection went completely down. I think we can all agree.
Oh yeah.
And then somehow we're all sitting around watching like, reruns of television shows on Netflix, like we're watching reality TV on Netflix, and somehow we're like, we didn't sign up for this. We didn't know
Yeah.
this was going to happen. It was like this coup that they did to take over the industry
Yep. Yeah, it's
and like not fulfill their promises, kind of, And so, well, you'll take
Yeah.
the shows you're given.
Yep.
yep. That's
Now there's just too much content out there, so.
too much, and it's like seems like too much bad content.
Yeah, it's not like
There's-
mediated in a good way.
Yeah, they don't weed out like the outliers or something. They don't.
And I think the streaming affects, their content too. It's like because they can get a lot more binge watching off television shows, so they really, push the different types of TV or their own TV contents instead of like how it started with the old, like out of print movies and stuff that you can't really find. Because even if someone watches it, they just watch it once.
Yeah, and it's like movies gained in popularity because people went and saw them, people wrote about them, people reviewed them, and now it seems
You have to base everything off the cover art and like Netflix
it's just,
star rating.
Yeah, exactly. And like it's like one thing to be able to. There should just be way better, something better in there, like analytics wise. That
Yeah. And I find that star rating system to be bogus, especially
Completely.
on Amazon. There'll be like 20,000 reviews, 4.5 stars, but then it's like a movie with The Rock. It's like, this is
no way.
No, that's not
it's
true.
like, yeah.
Have y'all
Who's reviewing this?
Have y'all noticed that the star system went away on Netflix? It's a simply like
It did.
good or bad. It's like thumbs up, thumbs down now.
I thought I swear I was on it recently and saw the stars.
I think it went away. I think if you're gonna rate something, it's like, do you like it or dislike it?
Interesting.
I don't.
Oh, like if you're gonna actually like vote on it or something.
You can't put.
But are the stars still there? Like when you pull a movie up, it shows
It
you,
might
like,
still have the stars to show you how much you would like it based on like its profile of you. But when you rate something, it's just like dislike now.
weird.
That's the way it was
seems- What? That
for me
doesn't-
last time. So it's like
Yeah.
there's no. I kind of liked it, but I didn't love it.
Mhm.
That's all gone.
It's the age we live in. It's just like pass or fail.
Yep.
Are you good enough? Nope.
Speaking of old TV shows, How am I doing on these segues?
Pretty good.
Maybe it's Miller time.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's Miller time. Run the sound effect.
All right. Oh, I bet I could find one. Oh, well.
All right, Miller time. Brought to you by Beer Everywhere. This is where we talk about T.J. Miller, the actor.
Yeah. I wonder how long we're going to keep this going. We might be able to go for a while.
Yeah.
It just depends on what he's doing with his life. You know?
Yeah.
If he's
Well-
not doing anything, it might be hard to drum up
well-
interesting news.
We could always just mention him once a podcast.
Yeah. Yeah. And Phil and I were talking. Okay, so T.J. Miller's leaving Silicon Valley, all that stuff, and so
He plays Erlich Bachman on Silicon
yeah.
Valley.
If any of you haven't seen Silicon Valley out there, get an HBO login or get your friends and go watch it because
PMS and we'll send you a login.
yeah. Well, and I guess we won't have any spoilers really for this. This is mainly just about T.J. Miller, and not. Are we going to talk about anything in the show? I don't think we are. So I think you're safe. But if we start to, we'll warn you.
Yeah, let's just say spoiler alert for whatever.
for-
Go watch it.
yeah.
It definitely is a good
Yeah.
show. It's basically, if you haven't seen it, it's basically about a startup in Silicon Valley who has a technology business
It's great.
idea.
I mean,
And it's great. And it's about their struggles to grow and sell the company and get funding and whatnot.
if you're a big, if you're a Mike Judge fan, which we all are, you won't be disappointed.
But yeah, what was it, in May or a couple months ago, they announced that T.J. Miller was going to leave the show.
Mhm.
And it's in its 4th season now, I think. It just
Yeah.
finished.
And it's interesting because they said that he was going to leave and that it was a mutual agreement between him and HBO is sort of like how they announced it. What was weird was like the timeline of everything seemed off as you start to watch like the show, like especially if you watch this season. It seemed like they announced it while this season was going on. It was like almost like obviously like he was planning his exit.
But even before they announced it, you and I talked about how it
Yeah.
seemed like he wasn't on the show as much. Like
Right.
his part was diminished.
And like the way the articles came out and said it, it was like it kind of made it feel like, oh, this is new news, but really it's been in the works, behind the scenes for a while, obviously based on this season, because he's like not hardly in it, and you're already seeing how they're kind of like starting to write him out of the season.
Yeah.
But then recently,
Which was basically just not showing him that much.
yeah,
Was the creative idea they came up with.
yeah. And how many? Like I finished the season. You still have what? 2 or 3
I have
more
like
episodes.
I have probably 3 episodes
How
left.
Same. Two.
Yeah.
So. But like,
But we all know he's gone by the end of the season.
yeah, and-
I read the art. Trevor and I read the article in an interview with him.
Yeah, and so but his article's funny because basically the I guess the short of it is he has come out and said that he hates, or not hates, but doesn't like, maybe he said hate. He doesn't like the one of the show creators or writers, Alec Berg, who was one of the Seinfeld writers. Mm-hmm. And one of the things he called him out for was basically saying this show is cyclical. We fail, we succeed, we succeed, we fail, or we succeed and we succeed. It's like it's a big cycle.
T.J. Miller called out Alec Berg for that?
Yeah,
Okay.
And just the show in general.
and
Like,
the show in general. And
I felt validated for that because we had talked about that for several seasons, that
Yeah.
it was just like, okay, he's the CEO. Now he's not the CEO. Now he
Yeah.
got back to CEO. Now he doesn't want to be the CEO. Now they have funding. Now they don't have funding. Like, and it was like every show was undoing everything they
Yeah.
did the show before.
Mm-hmm. And it's just kind of funny because we've all talked about that. We're always like, that's like the show's great and everything, but the problem, that's a big problem with the show, is that it's like, I don't know, you come to expect things after a while because it's so cyclical. You're just like, oh, well, they're doing well. They're in their big startup firm or whatever. Okay, what's going to be the big problem? And then they fail. And it's like, okay, well, how are they going to get out of this one? And it just
Yeah.
keeps going and going and going. And we've all talked about that. And
It makes sense that he might write that way when you think about a show like Seinfeld.
And that's
yeah.
when he brought in, what's his name, Alec Berg?
Yeah.
That's when he brought him in, and he made that connection to Seinfeld because and I agree, like it works for a show like Seinfeld where there is no point to the show. But this one is so purpose driven. It's like, we're going to form this company. I feel like it clashes with like
Yeah, they
what the
present
show is about.
2 different things. It's like on one surface, the show is about like a tech company and you want to see them progress. But the other time, it's just kind of friends hanging out in a house, which is more Seinfeld-esque. And they're kind of like which direction do we
Yeah,
want
or
to go
like-
in?
Yeah.
Always getting them back to the house, always failing them enough to get back to the house,
Mm-hmm.
which works for Seinfeld to get back to Jerry's apartment. Nobody grows. But this is about trying to grow something specifically. So I think it
Right.
clashes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's like the big thing is like why can't they just go just climb the ladder, of Silicon Valley? And I'm sure each tier has its own comedy and problems and things like that.
A
Like, we've
big
talked
thing
about
might
that,
be
like-
production, just because they
Yeah.
have the house set. They might have to get like
Yeah.
Who
I thought
knows
about
how
that
much
too.
of
It
all
Well,
that might
and,
have
and
to
even
change.
in that case though,
monetarily driven.
yeah, even in that case, then just stay in the house.
But I think-
Yeah. Or grow the show in a whole different direction. How about you
Exactly.
fail?
Yeah.
And you have to work it like Burger King.
Or you succeed for a whole season and then
Yeah.
you fail and try and everything's just too fast. Remember they got into that big building, they were successful. Or remember in this latest season was the worst. Like, who's the one coder? The
Guilfoyle?
Guilfoyle?
Dinesh?
the other one, Dinesh.
Dinesh, yeah.
Like in this season, spoiler alert, Dinesh becomes the CEO and they like pivot to be like a video
Yeah,
chat
for, like,
company,
an
and he was
episode.
CEO for like an episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Literally like less than an episode, and then like the company was dissolved. It switched back to regular Pied Piper. It was bought by someone else, and Dinesh resigned as CEO within like an episode and a half.
It's like so nothing
It's
happened.
too fast.
Yeah. it's way-
And something that just popped in my head would be a good example of how to make something like that work, like growth and failure and readdressing the same dream and goal, is like Eastbound and Down.
Mm-hmm.
You know how it would like he would change
yeah.
for like a whole season, go through like a failing period and then like a growth period, and every season had its own
Yep.
chapter of his dream.
Right. Yeah.
Like that would have been a
That's
good
another
model to
great
go
show.
with. Yeah, that's a great show.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just, but it's funny. It's like, cause that was like always kind of like ours, and I'm sure a lot of people's criticisms of the show. And then it's just nice, like you said, it's validating to have like one of the actual, characters on the show, the actor, come out and say, and like, he said this is kind of the reason why he's leaving. He didn't like that, and he didn't like Alec Berg and all this stuff. But then, like, you brought up a point. It's like that maybe, that's not everything, and it probably isn't. I'm sure there's other things.
Well, my
that-
main criticism of the article was that I liked those points he was making, and I felt validated by his criticism of the show. But he also said, it's his favorite show on TV. He loves it. But my main criticism of what he said in the article was that he was trying to make it seem like the main reason he left, despite all that other stuff, was he thought it was the funniest thing for the show. He's like, it's not about money. It's not about my career. I just thought it would be hilarious if my character left, and to see what they would do and how they would grow without me. And I was like, I just don't know if I buy that.
Yeah.
Maybe he'll be back with a
That's not-
bigger contract next season.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Well, yeah, and then I guess the other thing is weird because it's like, did HBO give him that stand-up special before that was going on, or after?
He kind of, and the way he worded something, he kind of alluded to like that was part of like
The
his
deal.
exiting agreement. Like he was going to make them. He said it somehow like, well, if you leave the show, if you think leaving the show would allow you to give us the 1 hour special faster, then like it was almost like part of the negotiation.
Oh, gotcha.
Hmm.
Yeah. So. there you
All
go.
right, that was Miller
That was
time.
Miller
That
time.
was Miller time. Good Miller time.
What time is it now?
Cheers.
Cheers time. Beer's almost empty, so that means maybe the episode's almost over.
Cheers time means we talk about the television show Cheers.
We have a box of wine. in the
Norm.
fridge.
Oh yeah, we do have box wine.
Oh. So yeah. What else? Is there anything else we want to talk about?
Well, we talked about movies. We talked about our lunch. We had Miller time.
Let's hop on the internet.
Talked about some TV, some
content.
local Orlando stuff.
What's like fun stuff?
My only other topic here is what is this show?
Yeah.
Anyway,
Let's
I don't know. We
about-
talk about a
Thanks
lot
for
of
tuning
weird,
in.
funny stuff. Like one of the things I want to talk about, or I think we said that we should do, is the conversation about well, we can't name names here, but I think there's a I don't even know how to word this.
buttsuck?
The overlapping of the fingers conversation. that we had at the bar about how someone was.
Oh, talking about like I couldn't even get my hand around it.
Oh.
Yeah. So things like that, like basically,
Yeah.
I'm not
That's
even
what people
really,
wanna listen
People are
to.
probably like, "What are you guys even talking about?" But I think we should do a whole episode on basically that.
So like you
How you
know
wanna
the birds and the bees type stuff, male,
Yeah.
female, how
Yeah.
men females see things, how men see
we kinda
things.
have a
Cover your
We
kids'
got
ears.
some inside tracks on that. That would be
Mhm.
great. Great topic.
That'll be a good one. That'll be one my family can't listen to. That'll be good. We can put out different warnings.
What's like a short
Code warnings?
something short like that maybe we could like talk about in the episode with
Yeah.
Oh,
or go out.
Well,
Gotta
or
jazz
did
it
you
up
have
with
more?
that.
I guess this is a good segment. What should the show be about?
yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I mean, if anybody's listening, what do you think we should talk about?
yeah, comment.
One person on the internet.
Probably gonna talk about movie production stuff. You know, we're
Yeah.
a production company. We do several
Mhm.
different types of things.
We finally just posted something we did recently, we didn't do this recently, sorry. We recently posted something that we did a while ago, which was the American Express project, which that's pretty cool. A friend of ours in New York, Justin Zirazade, he's one of our good buddies up there. And we did a project with him and American Express using a GoPro array that we own.
Speaking of that, that might be a kind of a good topic about us to describe what we do and to introduce us sort of to our audience. Is remember how we talked about well, basically for our audience, we own and we have built and developed this GoPro array that's basically like the Matrix move.
Yep.
And remember, we've talked several times about how basically the Matrix has given us a career.
Yeah, that's good.
So like
Yeah.
basically the Matrix and like brilliant people creating computer programs
Yeah.
Mhm.
and a slight amount of our own ingenuity has given us our own career
Yeah.
and the ability to like do this what we're doing right now. So
Mhm. Yeah.
I mean that's something we could talk about. Like basically thank you the Matrix.
Thanks. Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, yeah.
We could talk about my
I'm
wife.
Sure we're not alone.
You know,
I'm sure we're not the
she's
only one.
she's
yeah.
looking
Oh,
good.
we could have a whole section. We should have a whole segment about your wife.
A
Maybe
whole
like, what's your
section.
wife?
And
What's
my
Travis's
girlfriend, no
wife
offense
up to?
to Kelly.
Not much. She's just staying at home patiently waiting for me.
Oh,
You know.
cool.
Who is your wife?
Yeah.
Have you seen the Blurred Lines music video?
Oh
Yeah.
right.
Yeah,
Yours
yeah.
is that strange he/she cross-dressing man who
one
looks
you
like
can
that
kinda see
girl
the
from
No,
from
there's
Blurred
that
Lines.
one beautiful woman in there. That's Her name's Emily. She's cool.
Oh, okay.
Oh cool.
Yeah.
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 I saw her in Gone Girl. You know,
Mm.
I think she
Oh,
really
yeah.
likes
Mhm. She was.
Yeah, she told me a little
Popping
bit
out in that
about
movie.
Ben. Ben's weird.
Ben Affleck.
Yeah, she told me this. Ben had some weird things to say. But who knows? I guess when you're
He was
Batman.
probably
Yeah,
talking you
yeah.
down. You know,
Yeah.
trying to get her to.
I'm gonna hop
Come
on your
on,
wife's
man.
Instagram right now and see what's going on here. Emily. How do you spell it?
Yeah,
Oh,
it's like-
there she is.
Screw our company and the Matrix. Let's just talk about Emily
We gotta talk about
Ratajkowski.
Travis's wife here for a second. Instagram.
Well,
Basically, she's
image
beautiful.
popped up.
She's one of the most. I have a good story about Emily. When we first met her through watching her music video, completely, enamored by her. She
shows her
seemed
butt
amazing.
a lot. In
Yeah,
her Instagram.
she seemed like Travis, you can attest this. She seemed like a foreign beauty. Like maybe
Oh,
she was
right.
like the most beautiful French girl or something like that you've ever seen.
Mhm.
And then you remember the first time you ever heard her speak, and she was like,
Oh yeah.
she was like, I really like to do movies or something. Like I think I'd love to be an actress. I'm not even trying to make fun of her
I'm
voice, but it
sure
was just
you
like,
would.
oh, she's like a regular person. She's just like an American girl, like
Yeah.
who just showed up.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see your wife
And was
dancing
amazingly
with,
beautiful?
Breaking Bad. Are you aware of that? Aaron Paul. She was like
No.
shooting a thing with him. You know?
I'll have to have a
Never-
word. with
They were
this
doing
Mr.
some
Paul.
dance. They were like dancing around, being goofballs.
Hmm.
Yeah.
No, that guy's career's washed up. So that's the highlight of his life.
Best thing
Enjoy
ever
it.
did
Wow,
was like
Travis, I mean,
it was like an
jealous much?
Xbox commercial, wasn't it?
Travis is a jealous lover.
Oh yeah.
To be a beautiful woman this day and age with the internet, you're sitting on a gold mine.
Let's
Oh,
speak
yeah.
about that.
Way, you
You
know.
used to in the old days, being a beautiful woman. People are gonna hate me for this. Anyway, doors would be open for you. People might buy you drinks, might buy you lunch. Let's just keep it safe here. Now, if you're a beautiful woman, you can have your entire career. You can just post photographs of yourself,
Yeah.
and
Mhm.
you're set.
Yeah.
Yep.
Your
That's
life is done. Like you're golden.
I guess it's repayment for women's suffrage.
Yeah.
You
I
know?
feel like it's
Yeah,
gotta
enjoy
end-
that.
I feel like it's gotta be creating though, like some sort of weird subculture,
Oh,
of,
completely.
like a violent,
yeah.
aggressive subculture. Maybe similar to like that shooting over at the plaza, that guy that shot that girl. Like it's
Oh, like the
creating
obsessive-
people like that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I
Or
can
it's
see
like
that.
yeah,
So
Look at
making them
this.
come out of the woodworks.
This is like restaurant in a cliff. That's crazy.
Joe Rogan has a good comedy piece about girls
Rogan.
posting Instagram photos of their butt, about
Right.
how that's like her whole career, and how she like brings out these crazy people. You know, just like
Yeah.
she has millions and millions of followers who just like look at her butt every day.
Millions.
Millions.
And to some of them, like certain types of actions you might take towards women, you don't think about. So
Oh.
be careful what streets you walk down.
Wait,
Like
what
other
do you
parts
mean?
of the world, you know, maybe less civilized.
Oh, like
Yeah.
you're saying for them if they're like somewhere.
Yeah, because you're a
like, be
worldwide
careful.
celebrity now. So be
Yeah.
careful. You know, you have to.
I'm
like,
sure she's got bodyguard.
You gotta watch your back.
Yeah.
Hey,
Hey,
hey.
pun intended.
I'll watch your back.
Watch your back, or we'll watch it for you. You know, on your Instagram account.
Yep.
All right, let's. I feel.
But speaking of like women's suffrage and payment, didn't you say you read that? You said you read that Wonder Woman.
Oh, right.
I heard that Wonder Woman got paid only $300,000 for her role, and then somebody else told me that was for all three movies.
That is mind.
I can't really confirm.
What's
I've
her
just
name?
heard this.
Gal
I think
Gadot.
it's like a whole issue on the internet, and I think her co-star, the guy from Star Trek,
Chris Pine.
Chris Pine, I heard maybe a rumor that he got paid way more than her for the same movie.
I can see him getting paid more. He mansplained himself into a higher contract.
It says
Yeah, I mean she's a
here-
newcomer, but
Sorry.
still,
Yeah.
if she's bringing in that much money as the star, feels like she should get more.
What'd the director make? Whoa.
And she single-handedly, not her, but that movie has, in a way, revived that entire franchise. That whole DC universe
DC
was
was
dead
go-
on
was
arrival.
going-
It brings
dead.
up a very interesting.
She should try to renegotiate her contract for the next film. At
It
least.
brings up an interesting thing though. It's like, you know, obviously like Chris Pine making, you know, millions of dollars, or like there's like the time like Tom Cruise or what, or like Reese Witherspoon or whatever, they would make like it was like 20 million like minimum or something like that to get them in a movie or whatever. And it's like, are you really worth that?
No, you're not. That's the thing. Like, maybe
so in a
people should be
way-
getting paid $100,000
Yeah, in a way it's like,
for a few months of work.
you know, maybe she felt that's what
Yeah, there's two
she
sides
was-
to the
she
coin.
deserved, or
There's
that's what
two
she was
sides to the
worth, you
coin.
know?
As long
in
as like
terms of-
one person's not raking in 90% of all the money,
Yeah.
as long as it's going, if everyone's getting 100,000, then it's cool. You know?
Yeah, exactly. But it's not
Yeah.
even. And but here's the thing too, which we said earlier. The real person to blame here is like her agent.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like if somebody can fight for their position and get paid $14 million, like I think the Superman guy for Batman vs Superman got paid $14 million. Good for them in a way. Not that, you know, it would be nicer if it was all just a level playing field, but it's like people might get mad at me for this too. I don't think it should be like, hey, let's all tattletale on what the one actor got and make them all pay us even. Because
Yeah.
the thing is, you argue to the studio like, I'm going to bring in a certain amount of money because I am a star, and so I should be paid this amount. And they either agree with you or not, and you get your salary. So it's like, you shouldn't be paid the same amount just because it's not fair, you know, or just because you're a woman.
Right.
If you're a woman and you're a superstar, get a good, you know, get the same agent. Get a good agent who's going to fight for you and argue that you're going to bring in that amount of money too. And do it, you know, based off your merits and your negotiation skills, not like I should be paid more because it's not fair.
Yeah, and I guess
I don't like that aspect of it.
I've listened to interviews with her, and she's talked about how, you know, she was even considering giving up acting almost up until that point. Like she had done some other stuff.
Who is this?
Wonder Woman. Yeah, Gal Gadot. She was like saying how, you know, she was just like saying how like she was getting really sick of like the constant rejection, like considering changing her career or whatever, and then she got the part, you know, and so it's like, in a sense, it's like, yeah, I mean, how many people had heard of her until Wonder Woman, you know? So it's like maybe.
So I get that, you know,
Yeah.
she's a newcomer.
Yeah. But yeah, it is interesting because it's like, ultimately, it's like it's the studio who's trying to make
And
the
maybe
most
she
money.
did have like
They're
you
trying to
know,
make all the money to have for, you know, projects down the road or whatever they want to do. Which
Yeah.
I get that. But
Yeah, maybe she did have like a, you know, kind of a newcomer type agent too, because she is new.
yeah.
Mhm.
And when I was talking about the unfair thing, that was sort of, remember that whole Jennifer,
Garner?
is that the young girl?
Jennifer
Who?
Lawrence?
Lawrence.
Yeah.
That whole thing with Jennifer Lawrence and Bradley Cooper.
Silver Lining Playbook?
Yeah, or it was maybe some other movie that they did, but anyway, there was like a whole
Joy?
big thing in the news, like
One of
where
those David O.
she was
Russell films.
complaining because Bradley Cooper got, or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, don't let the number get out there, you know?
I wouldn't tell
Exactly.
anybody. Yeah,
That's a
Don't
good
like-
point.
That's unprofessional. Like,
Yeah.
don't be, I got bit. But maybe they're lying. Who knows?
Who
Maybe
knows,
like you
yeah.
go and tell your
How did
co-star.
it get out? I don't know. I don't know how it got out. Did she say?
I don't know.
have no idea.
It's probably like, you know, maybe your secretary leaking stuff. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe
Especially
it's
if you
maybe
think you're
it's also
underpaid.
a stunt too.
Yeah.
Like maybe it's like, you know, sort of.
Maybe that. I mean, I guess that is a tactic. You know.
Well,
bring it
according
light.
to the internet, Gal Gadot is either married or in a relationship with a rich architect, so
Oh.
might be all right. I think his name was Art Vandelay.
Yeah, I mean,
Vandelay Industries.
Yeah, we don't really need to
big
be
firm.
worried about. She's gonna be fine.
Yeah.
Someone please think of Wonder
Someone please think of Gal Gadot
Just
here.
you know, when this is all over, just give her a job.
He really needs it.
yeah.
If Gal Gadot is
She's set.
taken care of, I'll consider this podcast a success.
All right. Well, I'm pretty pleased with this podcast. I mean, should we
It's
wrap it
pretty
up?
solid.
Or, is there anything else we want to talk about? Anyway, more things to come. We're going to talk about weird stuff.
Yeah,
Too.
This
stay
was sort of
tuned.
like
This is sort of an icebreaker kind of.
Yeah.
This is the demo. I think it went pretty well.
I gotta say, you know, for however long we've been putting this off, I've enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hope we didn't lose anyone with all of our Orlando talk.
I never found a
I
Bill
think that's
Clinton
kind of
soundboard.
interesting. Stay tuned next
We could have
time
one
for
right
Bill
here.
Clinton soundboard.
Yeah.
Any other final notes?
What do we got going on next month? Anything exciting?
Lane, 4th of July.
What are
4th of
things
July's
people do on
coming up.
podcasts? Follow us on Instagram. We seem to do we do the most good on Instagram.
That's our salvation.
Doing the
army.
most good on Instagram. Laserline.
Yeah.
we
Actually,
don't do Facebook,
you know, if you're
really. We don't do
if
Twitter,
you're
but-
interested in production type stuff,
Yeah.
go to our Instagram, go
Yeah.
to our Facebook.
We can kind of
Mm-hmm.
see our gear, what we use, kind of projects we're working on. We're gonna post more of those American Express things, which by the time we get this out, we may have already done that. But
And also, if you like
yeah. Oh,
ASMR.
I think too. Maybe we should.
ASMR.
Is there a way on our website we can put this and then do like people should be able to like log in and chat on our website. Maybe.
Yeah,
So
I
we
don't
can
know.
sort of
We could just do it on
You
Facebook.
can do
we can start. Oh yeah,
yeah,
Facebook would be good.
Facebook comments,
We should have
YouTube
Facebook
comments.
Live this.
At some point, we might start
Yeah.
doing this live, and then you can like maybe that's
probably
probably
could
a
have
great
Facebook
idea.
Live this.
Yeah.
It's like
We could
run
have
it, get
Facebook
like a
Live.
thing
Oh
and
no,
run
we
it into the
totally should have.
computer.
Okay, next time
Yeah.
we're gonna Facebook Live it, and you can
Yeah.
all
And then you can,
all our
and we can
screaming fans. will-
live. People can type in.
That's what I mean. Yeah, you'll be able
Yeah,
to
we
type
blew
in,
it.
and
This might be the first of. Oh, we need to redo this.
you might never hear. It. Stay tuned to episode
may
2.
like-
if we
This
get
time
there.
it's episode
Upload
1.
to Facebook Live. Well, if we can, you'll find out.
Yeah. I wonder how often we should do
Oh,
this. Should we try
yeah,
to do this
but
every
we
Wednesday?
won't be able to respond. But maybe we can watch it as people watch it and respond.
Yeah. How often should we do this? Anybody who listens, let us know. I mean, I feel like every Wednesday might be good. But,
How about we'll start off every Wednesday?
Yeah.
We could do it, and
I
then
won't
go
be
to
here
the
next
happy
Wednesday,
hour.
but don't let that stop you. Elizabeth will be here, so she can fill in.
See how that goes. Can't wait.
Good.
Yeah. Well, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening to our first podcast. This has been the Laser Lion Crazy Audio Hour. Actually, comment what you think the name should be.
Oh yeah, let us know what you think, and enjoy the rest of your day.
This has been Philip Shuck
Trevor Cruz.
Jarvis Ingram.
signing off.
My ears.